I'm Jack Waddell. I'm an incoming second-year graduate student, and I work with Will Corbin and Lori Chesson. I look mainly at subjective effects of alcohol, so how people are acting whenever they're under the influence of alcohol, and how that leads to future problems such as drinking and driving and other addiction processes and whatnot. We're a little bit more etiological based, so we're interested in figuring out why these alcohol use disorders develop and what exactly it is that we can potentially intervene at a young age or even the college age for some of these risk factors. So we're more risk-based rather than intervention-based, but with the long-term goal of helping guide interventions. So I received the Research Society on Alcoholism Memorial Award, and this was the first year they gave out this award. So it was really cool to kind of be one of the people that was selected. They selected 2 graduate students and then a couple postdocs. And essentially what it is it's a memorial award for RSA, Research Society on Alcoholism, members who have passed away. It was really influential that being a first-year graduate student, that they saw potential and were excited about me. So it meant a lot to be in a symposium. So I presented on some of our lab findings, which looked at contextual effects on subjective response for alcohol. So we bring people into our lab versus our bar lab, and we look at how a context of being in a simulated bar versus being in a kind of like living room setting versus being with people or alone, and how that leads to different responses to alcohol. But what we did see was that a lot of the more positive-based effects were more salient when you were in a group of people, which makes sense. So you're going to feel more sociable, you're going to feel more outgoing when you're around people. But we also saw this for a lot of negative effects too. So we kind of break our effects into 4 different quadrants. So we look at arousal, so high arousal, low arousal, and then valence, so positive, negative. And we saw that all effects, except for low arousal positive effects, so kind of feeling like relaxed, feeling calm, that kind of thing. All of those effects were more salient in the group context. So, which is interesting because a lot of past research hasn't necessarily had people in groups when they're doing these kinds of alcohol administration work. Right, yeah, it adds a little bit of ecological validity, and it tells us a little bit more about a typical drinking episode rather than sitting in a room in front of a computer by yourself. And it's helpful to see just effects of alcohol in general, but also how context may affect this, also with expectancy challenges, which bring people into kind of a bar lab, and then we show people that maybe they're not actually feeling what they think they're feeling what they expect to feel. So which that gets into a different question of expectancies versus subjective response and whatnot. But our main goal was really to get a better picture of subjective response and help people better understand some of these constructs that are typically related to heavier drinking, but are typically done by a single person sitting in a lab rather than in a group.